So do we really need salt? So salt is nothing but sodium chloride. That's the main essential mineral. And then you're going to have some potassium, some magnesium, and other minerals put together too. If you're eating, these new salts like the Himalayan salt or any of them. So what the body needs is sodium. It doesn't need it in the form of inorganic salts like sodium and chloride. Remember when I told you about vibrational energy, and also I told you how magnesium is there in the chlorophyll with organic matter around it, or how hemoglobin is there with protein chains that are there. That's the kind of minerals we need that are bound in the organic form to proteins and everything, because their vibrational energy matches with us, not the form of like sodium and chloride. Sodium is an essential mineral because sodium potassium pumps. Each cell functions based on sodium. That's how the nerve energy is conducted. That's how cardiac energy is conducted. That's how cardiac contraction takes place. So we need sodium. We can't strip the body of sodium, but what form we need is the most important thing. Okay, sodium is an essential mineral required for maintaining fluid electrolyte balance. As I said, each cell functions, the sodium potassium pumps, and as well as for regulating blood pressure. The tone of the blood vessels, the smooth muscles in the blood vessels are maintained based on the sodium. But we don't need sodium chloride. So what happens when our body eats salt in the form of table salt? Next slide. So what happens is when we eat in the form of sodium, it enters into our bloodstream. That's when we start feeling thirsty too, because that sodium chloride increases the salinity of the tonicity of the blood. So we tend to drink some more water in order to dilute it. If our kidneys are functioning well, they flush it out. If our skin is functioning well, it flushes it out. Otherwise, there is no need for salt. Salt is a slow poison. It's a silent killer. That's how we have to look at table salt as. So sodium is always there in the form of living foods. Remember, vibrational energy, minerals. So it's easier for the body to incorporate that sodium, that potassium, that magnesium into the system, rather than giving our body inorganic salts in the form of sodium chloride, potassium chloride, or magnesium sulfate in the form of Epsom salts and all those things. So eat sodium-rich fruits, all the fruits that are lined up. Any fruit is sodium-rich because each cell has sodium, potassium, ATPase pump, and that's what we eat. So sodium-rich vegetables. Next slide. In the form of sodium is also there in the form of nuts and seeds. In the all sprouts will have sodium. So people have this kind of a misnomer. They think like, oh my God, if you eliminate table salt, you're going to be passing out. No, it doesn't happen that way. You don't pass out or do anything. The thing is, our body is used to that toxin in the form of sodium chloride. We find a little bit of jitteriness. We don't feel too good when you are in the process of cutting it down, but later on your body starts adjusting to lack of that inorganic sodium chloride, which was totally a toxin. So that's what happens, but you don't pass out just because you stop using salt in your food. Next slide. Salt is an extremely refined food. So as I told you, even though it comes from the sea salt, it comes from wherever the Himalayan salt, or from rocks or anywhere. So salt is a refined food. Take the one that's from plant kingdom in the form of vegetables that have natural salts in the form of sodium, calcium, magnesium. That's perfectly in the right proportions. So that's why they taste naturally salty and healthier. So you can always try this one. Eat a fruit followed by a vegetable. So which one do you find it salty? Fruit is always sweet majority of the times, and the vegetables you find it salty. That's the salt that we need. So mineral kingdoms things, the salt that we have in mineral kingdom is sodium chloride. First of all, this is a huge refining process, okay? They always add bleaching agents. That's the reason why it's so white. Otherwise, there is nothing in nature that's as white as salt. And then they had anti-clumping agents. Nowadays, the whole thing has become iodized salt, Tata iodized salt. that's industrial junk that they're adding to our salt. Do not eat that kind of iodized form. You need iodine. Iodine, again, in the form of minerals, like, little bit of seaweed or anything, that if you just go visit a beach, you get enough iodine that you need. But you don't need any kind of iodine in the form of industrialized junk that is being added. So now that you learned about salt, always consider table salt. It's a slow poison, it's a silent killer. So now our focus is to shift away from the table salt and focus more on salts from plant kingdom. Salt from mineral kingdom has to be minimized. It's hard to eat cooked food without salt, but try. We're going to help you tame your taste buds in such a way that you're going to forget about adding salt to your food. It is doable. A lot of my friends are doing it. I still eat a little bit of salt, but not as much as I used to eat before. So, and then, so salts are nothing but, it's just the table salt is nothing but inorganic chemical slurry causing toxicity. So increase your plant kingdom salt, decrease your mineral kingdom salt, and remove any kind of pickles, achar, chutneys that we all make. They are extremely salty. Try to make something that are fresh without any salt and see they really taste very good. We're going to help you get those things done during our sessions.